to the Innermost Podcast, where we explore, acknowledge, set right, and show gratitude for our deepest, most private, inward thoughts, emotions, and experiences. As always, you can write to the show anonymously and share your thoughts, your experiences, or a story that you would like to share on the podcast. I'm your host, K-Joy, and welcome to the Innermost. Wow, it has been a while. It has truly been a minute since I've recorded or did any episodes with the podcast. Honestly, I would just say that life just happened. Even now in this moment, you may hear that I'm very nasal and under the weather. I've been off work for a couple of days, just battling an ongoing, reoccurring cold. I don't know if I mentioned, I'm pretty sure I have on the show before, that I do have lupus and fibromyalgia, and so that is just like a random ongoing battle, and right now it's getting the best of me. I haven't really been on my A game with routines and regimens that I had established to keep myself healthy. Kind of fell off once I went back to school and just was, pursuing, as mentioned before on some of the other episodes, my credential and teaching, and just, battling that Cal TPA, and just so many things just has really knocked me off my feet, actually, and that's really not easy to do. So I'm here, and I just miss it so much. I look at my setup and my microphone, I'm just like, oh, I just want to record and just express out into the universe. It's funny because the whole reason for starting the podcast in the first place was just an outlet to just kind of express those inward thoughts that I feel like so many people have but are unable to just freely express. One thing that I noticed just in relationships in general is that, I think I mentioned this on an episode before, is when you're asked, like, how are you doing, etc., people are generally not looking for an actual answer or an in-depth response. It's usually just, short talk, small talk, oh, I'm good, etc. But so many times, individuals need that outlet. So many times individuals need someone to just pour out to. And I find that, in this life that we live, the hustle and the bustle, my outlet is so constantly, prayer, in the Lord. And even that gets exhausting. If I'm being honest, I'm at this point where it's just like, I just don't feel like it. It's just like, Lord, I've literally prayed about the same things for so long. And that's even in scripture, just not to repeat. I can't think of the scripture right now. But basically not to pray about the same thing over and over. And I feel like it's become almost like this nearly, I don't want to call it psychotic. I don't think I'm crazy, but just like this mental practice of comfort, of just kind of in my head repeating this, having a conversation, with the Lord. And so I just decided to kind of bring my inner thoughts out loud, because I feel like I can't be the only one that experience this feeling or thought, or I guess pattern or habit in life. And so I am here. It is January the 22nd, 2025. Sitting here near my cup of tea. I apologize if I start sneezing with my little hay fever. Or if my phone just starts to vibrate. My teacher chat, or we have school going on right now, so just giving some instructions and staying in the loop with that. But here's an update. I think I mentioned before, I did pass my Cal TPA, so I'm officially California credentialed. I have my preliminary credential in teaching, and the way that works in California is now you have to enter an induction program that is about 2 years, and pretty much just jump through a few more hoops, leaps, and bounds that are nearly not as traumatic as the initial one. So looking forward to that. And then also I've withdrawn from my my doctorate program. Just kind of had to take a step back and look at my life and realize that, my oldest son is just, well, now he's a sophomore, so he's just about 2 years and a couple of months from graduating high school. And the doctorate program was an average of about 3 years, not including the dissertation process. And I've spent my entire life in education, pursuing education for myself, not so much pursuing the field of education, but just pursuing higher education for myself, and then somehow ended up on this path to in the field of education. So it's been an interesting journey. It was not as hard as I would have imagined my younger self experiencing when withdrawing from the doctorate program, just because I had a lot more pride then in the fact that I did not like to quit. And it's funny that in this instance, I don't find it, once I'm more mature and older now and more established, I don't find it labeled as quitting. If anything, it may be a pause in a future process. But for right now, it was the best decision for myself and my family, my health, spending time with my kids. So I've just been enjoying that in that respect and aspect. But wow, do we have so much to talk about? So much, I don't even know where to start, really. I'm just going to improv and freestyle from the top of my mind. I think we were going through the election process, and that was quite interesting. However, I don't think it was as interesting as these next 4 years are about to be. So President Donald Trump was sworn in on Martin Luther King Day of 2025. And wow, I mean, what a beautiful, beautiful inauguration speech. I mean, my hopes had a heartbeat. They really did. And I'm telling you, whoever wrote that speech, I love writing. I love the art of writing. I would like to know, I think they mentioned the name, but I really need to look up who wrote that speech. That was an incredible inauguration speech. And they must even, they had to have practiced the delivery with President Donald Trump, because let me just say that I have to say this for any new, and I've been checking the stats here, so I know I have some faithful listeners, which is, I appreciate. I don't even know who they are, but I appreciate. But you have to know that I am not this like radical political person at all. I'm just, I'm just a random, regular human being. And so my relationship with Donald Trump goes back to, I can't even think of the name of the reality show from like 2010. Here, let me look it up. 2010, he had this reality show where, God, all I can remember is the term he used to use, like, you're fired. And me and my husband, what's it called? Donald Trump's reality show. What was the name of that show? The Apprentice. Okay. So it was like, was it The Apprentice? Oh, it was so long ago. What year was that? I think it was The Apprentice, but it was so long ago. Let me see what year. It had to be like around 2010 or something. Yeah, so it went from 2004 to 2017. So we didn't start watching it until probably like 2010 maybe. Me and my husband used to watch that show. Do you hear me? Because our favorite part was when he fired people. I remember how we used to just bust up at his personality. We thought it was hilarious. As a person on like a reality show. And so now to see this personality in the White House again, mind you, remember that I mentioned that on a previous episode that I voted for President Donald Trump the first time. I did not vote for him this second term that he's doing. I just, I didn't like the narrative of so much of the chaos and division and all that stuff, but we're here now and we're strapped in and we're gonna ride this thing out. So many interesting things are happening. I use the word interesting because that is just for lack of a better term at this point. But going back to the speech, I was all dialed in. I was into this speech, and then this guy, after seeing off the Bidens and seeing off, Vice President Kamala Harris and Doug, seeing everybody off, this guy goes right back to I forget what they call it. I think it was like the lobby after leaving the rotunda area. And this dude says, just completely debunks his original speech. And all I could do was laugh and holler like, that lasted all of like 25 minutes, dude. Like, wow. Imagine if we were able to just kind of soak that speech in a little longer without him completely negating everything that he just said. I mean, like, yeah, they didn't let me say what I really wanted to say in the speech. Jeez, good Lord. Anyways, that has really been my reaction right now. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know. I've been off social media. I just sometimes need to take a mental break. And I find myself also, I don't like to get in the routine of just like using my extra time to just scroll and look at things and just fill my mind. I feel like my mind feels so much lighter when I'm not on social media. So completely haven't been on social media. Feels great. But oh my goodness. So I don't know pretty much the consensus of like how the public feels or all of that. Pretty much all I know is how, I perceive things and what I see and the little articles and media coverage that I see every now and then. But I tell you this, it is no surprise what's happening. Even with like okay, so this is what prompted me to just be like, girl, you sick, but I'm still going to record. I just ran across an article. Where's my article? I just ran across an article showing that in Kentucky, a KKK group has passed out flyers to, here it is. Let's see, The Guardian. So I don't know. I really don't have a preference of like news sources. I just kind of compare them and then just kind of take stuff at face value. But it says KKK distributes flyers in Kentucky telling immigrants to leave now. They also sent out, I guess, flyers like asking people to join. President Donald Trump pardoned so many of the January 6th rioters, and people are feeling above the law right now. And so, listen, I'm if you're a listener here, I don't hold punches in regards to truth and reality as far as I can see it. And I will often bring up, the obvious. And here's the thing. Why do people get upset about people bringing up race when we literally look at the stats of race in everything? Elections, education, finance, like so many different things. So anyways, so this article kind of prompted me to kind of go over it. And here's the thing. It's funny because I guess black people are not calling themselves black anymore. And African Americans are not calling themselves African Americans no more, which I get that. Because of this, as you can see, like, we literally have our blood and soil and are 100% American. And but it's interesting because we I'm going to keep saying black because you know what I mean. Everybody knows what I mean when I say black. But we're not surprised by this behavior. Like, this is pretty much what we've been saying about America forever and experiencing. So, if anything, like, we sitting here watching, like, dang, y'all didn't believe it? like, nobody believed this was going to happen? It's crazy. It's insane. But, anyways, this article kind of made me think, like, So I don't know much about, like Black Panthers and all that. I know the purpose and all that, but the history, how they got started, the details and all that stuff. I know they're considered like a self-defense party, obviously, for reasons that we all know in America. But it just prompted my thinking, like, okay, if the KKK putting out their flags and recruiting right now, this is considered not to be our fight right now. We consider to be laying low. Like, even after Harris lost, there was this thing like, listen, y'all don't have to fix people. Y'all could just chill. So now I'm wondering, will other groups begin to establish in response to the KKK blatantly coming out because they feel like they have the backing of Trump? I don't know. This will be interesting to watch. I did see the address of the new infrastructure. That was interesting. It made my little ADHD mind think of that. What is that movie? It's on Disney. Goodness, it's a movie about like a character being like inside of a video game, and I don't know. That's what it made me think of. So it'll be interesting to see how much of this is developed in the next 4 years, and then will he pretty much groom like his sons to take his place to continue, his reign. That's what I think will happen, because honestly, what's in place, I really don't think 4 years is enough to establish the plan. Or the plan can be established, but to carry out the plan. So I feel like he's probably grooming like his son, Don Jr. and what's his name, Barron, to carry it on, and it'll be enough of people in the MAGA movement to keep it going. This will be interesting to see. But that's where we are now. Some other sad news, and something that I was wondering about: what will be the mental state of people and families, immigrants who are in fear? I had just a complete emotional breakdown before leaving, the doctorate program, just because it's just like, it's exhausting. I felt like, I don't want to, in that moment, this is like pre everything. This is like right after the election, where it was just like, wow, like the minds of people are just so split in this country. Like, literally there's a divide in the thinking. And I just felt like I no longer wanted to pursue or contribute to like research, higher education, or it's so exhausting in the doctorate program, just giving so much of yourself and your thoughts and contributing to conversation. And I just felt in that moment I didn't want to anymore. I don't want to contribute. I'm just tired. I'm tired of the process and the microaggressions that we so often go through as Black women in this country. And I was just like, I just want to enjoy my family, enjoy my life. And I'm just tired of striving. So, those were initial thoughts, and then just more reasons kind of came through, and that was the end of it. So yeah, there's so much. I mean, it's only what? It's only day 2. It's only day 2. Well, what was it? I think we last talked about my son, maybe, that we had taken him out of private school, put him in a public school. We don't have many options where we are. The process, the adults were just so terrible to deal with. in the system. We just had a terrible experience with transitioning him, so we end up transitioning him back. So he's back at private school. Very happy with that decision. Very happy with the fact that they were willing to have him back, and just praying and hopeful for. The one thing about this that's interesting with politics is that you can hope and work towards what you can consider like a bright future, but it can only, let's see, that is only one aspect of it, right? And that's why I believe so heavily in prayer and in the spiritual reality and spiritual relationship with the Lord, because striving and working towards something is so little on the grand scheme of things, because you're literally subject to the law of the land and really politics and whoever's in power in that moment. And so what spirituality does is kind of it gives you a lens that people who are operating in the natural can't use or see, and you're able to maneuver through this life with those hope, dreams, ambitions, and desires with a covering. And so without that, you just kind of striving empty, like empty striving, because other people are making the decisions for you. And I say that to say, like, my son, he's working hard, but for the entire time of him, the rest of his high school career, he'll be under a certain, and I'm just saying a certain, because honestly, at this point, it is what it is. I don't have any negative or positive things to say. I'm just like, well, let's see where we go with this. So he will be under a certain administration for the rest of his high school career, which in fact will determine the opportunities that will be available to him once he is able to enter the adult world. So that's why prayer and your relationship with the Lord is so important, because when God is in control of your life, you're not subject to the boundaries and to the limitations of man. And so, thank God for that. But in other news, I believe today Disney is now selling the Magic Key again. I tell you, I want a Magic Key so bad. As soon as I can make financial sense of it, I definitely want to get it. Yep. I didn't mean to be in the queue, but let's see. It says, yeah, the Magic Key is now being sold on Disney.com. So if you're interested in the Magic Key, they have several different options. It also tells you whether or not, how many visits it'll take for your key to be paid for, et cetera, et cetera. We took the kids for Christmas on Christmas Eve, the day before Christmas Eve, the 23rd. And it was a disaster, mainly because of me, because my expectations were were higher than what they should have been. I wouldn't say very high, but higher than what they should have been. And the reality is, traveling with the family and kids, there will just be hiccups, hangups, and you just got to go with it. And so in that time, I wanted a certain type of experience. It didn't happen that way, and it just did not feel pleasant. And so would definitely do it again with lower expectations and more flexibility in mind. So that was completely on me. But yeah, so all of these things are happening. Let's see. Reading an incredible novel in my classroom with 6th graders. It was recommended by another teacher. The book is called Restart. This book is by, I can tell you in just a second. I believe I can tell you in a second. I believe. Okay, I can't pull it up, so I'll just pull it up on here. Restart. I think it's like Gordon somebody. Yeah, Gordon Corman. Yeah, Really good story. Pretty much about a kid that, after a tragic accident, had to restart his life. So, very interesting. The sixth graders love it. I want to cough. Hold on one second. My apologies. I'm trying. I'm struggling here. Um, Very good story so far. We're not quite finished with it, but we're working towards it, and then we'll do like a review and then a personal narrative on that. What else? We did season 3 of From came out. I know Squid Games is out. Everyone's going crazy. I don't know what the box office is doing. I did want to go see one of them days, which is, I guess, deemed by, gosh, I am really drawing blanks on names today. Deemed by Issa Rae, one of the producers, a main producer, to be like a love story to Los Angeles. So, love movies, storylines that depict like the culture from which I'm familiar with. You know, just the clothing, the hairstyle, all those things. We haven't been able to get a babysitter yet to see it, but looking forward to checking it out every now and then. You just need one of those random, entertaining movies. The Rams didn't get it done. I blame number 69 on the offensive line. If you go back and watch the tape, 69 was completely lost and allowed Matthew Stafford to get sacked so many times, and it was just a disaster. We should not have lost that game. But congratulations to the Eagles. So, baseball is coming back very soon. As you know, our son plays baseball, and looking forward to seeing our championship Dodgers return. I don't know what's going on in the land of Lakers right now. But let's see. Lakers played yesterday. They won 111-88 versus the Wizards. I placed a parlay the other night, and wow, I came very, very close. Very close to winning that parlay. There's some games tonight. Maybe I'll post a parlay. Other than that, it is the end of January. I'm getting excited about hopefully getting my garden going again. Think I'm gonna get in here and make some greens with some collard greens fresh from my mother's garden. I have so many greens in my garden that I need to pick. Definitely want to plant some broccoli, some asparagus, get that going. Looking forward to that. And there's so much to look forward to. I'm just glad to be on the microphone despite just feeling sounding congested. Looking forward to hopefully, some other things that's interesting is that prior to the inauguration, this talk about the U.S. attempting to buy Greenland, even if by force, and then trying to convince Canada to become the 51st state, or to pretty much be taxed superbly. So, and then what was it? The executive order to change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. So, it'll be interesting to see if any of these changes come to pass and what that will begin to look like for America. And then what opportunities will be afforded to people in America, and if they will be distributed more heavily by, I would just say, privilege, or versus qualification. So that'll be interesting over time to check out. Other than that, all I can say to you is, stay peaceful as much as you can and keep your perspective that what's going on around your life does not represent your life. All right. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. 10:32 a.m. Have a beautiful afternoon.